So, previously, you all found yourselves the enemy, or the unknown enemies of a certain group that calls themselves the Vehicles of Chaos. Loyalists to Spice Cove who want to open the gate to bring him into the world. You had, right. You found yourself this enemy because of the delightful crime boss leader, Mama T. Who after sending you all through a bit of a rigmarole, got you all to the bottom of what she's trying to settle. The group is out there, causing trouble from people, hoping to make an appetite of it to summon their lord. With this knowledge discovered, you also discovered that one of Eddie's many adopted kids, what was his name again? Stefan? No. Stefano? No. Wow, now I don't remember Eddie's kid's name. Hey Eddie, what are your kids?
Definitely was one of the names.
I believe it's Stefano.
I have a whole book.
According to the other alert, Aaron is the one with the apocalypse arm.
Mm-hmm. I think it's Stefano.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you found out that Stefano, as ever-sighted as he is, would be the key to opening the door for Spice Cove if he ever screamed. Rock is currently streaming. Let me link that real quick. Excuse me. I'm on YouTube right now, so I just saw this open. Alright, yes. Rock's right. No. Yeah. If ever he screamed, the door for Spice Cove will open. So far, no one knows where Stefano is. So there's a plus side. And after this incident, you all decided just maybe, it was time to see a therapist about the family situation. However, Dr. Thaddeus, your licensed practitioner, was busy for quite a bit of time, unable to put you into his schedule. Mama T still had plans for you, though, sending you off to a place north of Caladium where business folk meet to decide how to move forward with operations. A place protected against all sorts of charm magic, so that nobody can influence your vote. There, a murder occurred that Eddie the Frog quickly disabled. Nevertheless, you had to figure out who among these people killed the woman most resistant to expanding the Teth Corporation's mining operation. You did that successfully and headed back home. This is a recap and sloppy and headed back home. It's been a month since last you heard from Mama T. But you received a note not too long ago. Dr. Thaddeus is back in town. He is willing to see you all today. So you send the bird to Dudley and get your carriage prepared. Or alternatively, you all just take a walk. It's not that far from your house. Either way, you set off on the road to Dr. Thaddeus' place.
Yeah.
All the while,
a nice brisk walk. Go for a walk.
On the way there, of course, you find that only two of your many kids join you, Eddie. Zert, of course, and Stefano. Ordered word is concerned with becoming a greater hero, so he's off doing other stuff. And your two other sons, they are at the orphanage, minding their business, as it were. They're orphans. They don't quite feel the need to be involved with the family therapy just quite yet. So nevertheless, you're walking. And as you walk, you think about what's been going on in your life over this past month. Blink, who is joining them for family therapy? 22 or Blink?
I think 22 needs it more, but...
What? So 22. It's been a month. You haven't really left the house much. Well, no more than you normally would. Not on the grandiose adventures that everyone tends to go on. What has been up with you over this past month?
I could have sworn that one lady gave me something to help me out with the book.
Indeed. Did we ever? I meant
I
to.
forgot what her name was.
Yes, the old lady. Yes. Dang, I forgot the rules I wrote down for that notebook. I hope I wrote those rules in that notebook. Alright. This is. Oh no.
For whatever reason, when you said just the words "wrote down," I thought of instantly an Eminem rap song. The lyrics are...
He so something, he forgot what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud.
I actually had quite a few notes from last time because of the whole meat of it all. But I did not write down the rule. Let me think if I can remember how it goes. She said something like there was a locksmith who would open that book, the book of 22 for him, but I forgot what he had to do to summon the locksmith. Do you recall, Blake?
I'm not sure. I thought there was just 2 pieces. She gave me one, and then I came back to steal the other one at night, but it wasn't there.
Yeah, okay, that one was she left a letter for you about how to get into the book, and the only way to read the letter is if you got her stamp, because her stamp has the ability to magically seal letters, and you need to use the stamp to undo the lock. That's part of why she was killed. She had a letter of resignation already kept somewhere that would remove her from the company. And one of the people wanted to use that letter to force her out so that she could move forward. And yes, in her letter, yes, she told you about the locksmith.
Oh, that's right. I fell asleep before I had the chance to do it. Okay, yes, sorry.
Yeah, you were a
I'm
very
sorry
sleepy
about
boy that day. Nope, you're fine. Let me see if I put that in your DM. I don't remember last time we did Whispers, not Whispers, D&D.
I do have the recording. I went through it afterwards. Unfortunately, it was like 30 minutes of silence before my computer ran out of space, but...
Hold on.
Would it be
I
in
think
the
that's
recording?
pretty good. Half an hour before your computer ran out of space. It's not bad, you know?
I guess not.
Let's see.
Speaking of which... I'm sorry, you can go on to the next one. I guess I'm taking up too much time.
No, you're fine, you're fine. I'm looking over. I didn't even send you a message. What I sent was note to Blink 22 stuff. And then we never talked about it.
Sounds like me.
No, that's more along the lines of my fault. I said 22 stuff, likely with the plan to tell you more stuff after the fact, but I never got around to doing it. So, yeah, that's on me. Nevertheless, there was some business about a locksmith and how there's a way to summon it, but there is a folly in summoning it. I don't remember all the details, but yes.
Then I tried to summon the locksmith every way possible, even by sacrificing Zert on an altar.
I would like to comment on that, but I don't precisely remember all the necessary things, so we're going to have to get back to that when one of us has a better idea.
Fair enough.
Koya was here.
Koya, you came at an excellent time considering we were still doing the recap.
Perfect.
Hello, friend.
Well,
Koyelly.
Hi!
Koyello.
Coy.
Koi boy.
Snack
Give me
King.
one moment. Alright, and there we go. Yes, sir. Alright, so gotta put that one over there. But no, they was definitely sitting next to each other. But you want to be able to see the names if I sit them next to each other. Like that. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so right. So yeah, we'll get back to 22 with his books. We get places with that. Right. Eddie the Frog. It has been a month. What have you done in the meantime?
Well, in a month, I've started trying to take a real good care of my family, and that is including my extended family, everyone who lives at the house. So I've been asking Connie for a lot of tips on how to do things around the house, like washing windows and learning how to help people around a little bit.
Connie took very intense interest in your new lesson and was very careful as to instruct you the proper way, the angle, the soap ratio to put into the bucket, what type of thing you do to get this last streak off the window, how to spot where dust is going to accumulate the most so that you can combat it. You learned quite a bit about cleaning. Roll an intelligence.
It made dice sound and nothing happened. Well, what if I told you it's all hooked up and nothing's happening?
One more time.
I'm clicking and nothing's happening.
Alright. Grab your intelligence modifier and roll 1d20 plus your modifier on roll 20.
I would also try refreshing the page, just in case.
I peeked over at Ross's stream for a moment and he just got champion. It's like, yeah, that checks. Alright, yes, nevertheless, to focus on DC. Yeah, when you ready, Eddie? When you ready?
Well, it's happening. I'm totally adding things.
Are you? Well, no. Yes, you are definitely in this. There we go. Alright. Connie has been very meticulous in his lessons, but the kind of just wash off your back.
Oh.
You try your best, though. And while Connie will not allow you to clean anymore around the house, it does appreciate that you at least try. Alright?
I did
And
my
we'll
best. That's all I could do.
Hey. So we go to you next, Koiel. It's been a month. What have you done since you went to Tesco? What has been going on in your life?
I think for the month, I think Koyo would have gone home to First World. Just spent like a few 2-3 weeks over there. Kind of let the monks know what's been going on with him and his endeavors that he's made in the city and the works he's doing. And then he'd hang out with Art quite a bit, spend a lot of time outside as well in nature, enjoying things, and probably at some point visit his old family home, the old barn, if it's still there. Just spend some time walking around the inside, reminiscing before heading back.
Oh, alright. Yeah, Koiel just pretty much kept the peace of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we come once again to you, Rusty. What have you done, well, since yesterday?
After yesterday, no, he decided just to rest for kind of a day after that. He always has so much kind of going on. After yesterday, it's like, no, I'm just gonna take a day off. And just kind of sat at home, practiced a bit of calligraphy. Maybe someone came by earlier to ask him something, and he told them something, and then they left, and he kept, just doing his own thing.
So, your days go, the weeks go, and you think about everything that's happened as you're walking or riding down to Dr. Thaddeus's office. You come in, you go up the stairs, and you find yourself in a fairly large room with the doctor. Stefano and Zerg take a seat, and Dr. Thaddeus waits at his desk for you all to do the same.
Oh God.
This song will not be long enough. We're going to use it in the hope that it loops. All right. So Cody, okay. So waiting for 22.
Saying
All right. One more time.
Oh, sorry. I thought you asked me a question.
No. I said Koiel, but I don't know why I said it. And then I said, nah, we're waiting for. Alright, so as you all enter the office and take the seat you see fit, Dr. Thaddeus looks up from the book in front of him and he says, "Welcome to my esteemed patient. I hope that you all are doing well today. I will be your therapist, and I'm hoping that we can get to the root of some of the mental anguish you face in your life."
We're happy to be here.
And I am happy to have you. However, and he points to the clock, we of course on the clock. You are my patient, so I shall give you as much time as is necessary. So, to begin, and he pulled a pen out from under his desk. What made you all feel the need to come to see me for therapy?
Well, I guess we've just been through a whole lot lately together. And I think there's a lot of just probably deep-rooted things, For the past, what has it been? A year or so now? We've been running here and there and, fighting these things and seeing all kinds of bloodshed and dealing with supernatural things, and I don't think we've really had any time to sit down and talk about any of it.
He nods, his hand moving at the paper. Yes, the type of chronic incidents that you all face lead to stress and PTSD. It is fortuitous that you decided to see me. We may be able to ease some of that tension. Let us start by talking about what your lives were like before we got into this mess, as it was. When he looks down, he says, let's start with the oldest one here, Eddie the Frog. Before you found your life changed in such a way, what was it like?
Well, way back then, Oh, I was misguided. I just finished being in the monastery, I wasn't allowed there anymore, so I founded Neptunism, and it was beautiful, water, crisp. Oh, delicious. But since then, I've learned that there's more to life than religion, and that maybe my religion wasn't even as true as the ocean's calling. But it was a simpler time.
And tell me, Eddie the Frog, why were you, and you look at the note, kicked out of your monastery?
Well, I wasn't as traditional as they liked me to be, and I was not doing as good of a job. They put me in I was a dishwasher, and because I love water, they thought it would be perfect. But I would just get all the dishes slimy, and there was nothing I could do that could help around the monastery, and they decided it was time for me to move on.
And tell me, what first made you look toward Neptune as your new deity?
Water.
He writes it down.
It was all just it's like when people get really into certain religions for certain things. It was an outlet for my water addiction, I think.
He's writing down. He's like, understood. Eddie's a frog. Water is necessary for many things to live, but it can also be something else. What is water for you?
Delicious. I love every kind of water. At one time, we even saw water on the side of the road that was the crispest water in the whole world that was being sold for 100 gold a bottle, and I bought so many. It was so good.
He writes it down. Yes, I see. He looks over to you, Eddie, and he says, Eddie's a frog. Are you prone to being easily deceived?
Easily deceived? Well, I like to think that I have some smarts in me and that they can't get the best of me, but I do have a soft little frog heart.
Interesting. And he's writing it down as I see. So, Eddie the Frog, this transition from your water-loving life to this life of combat, how did you respond to it?
Well, for a while, I sought out water. I wanted it to just be all about water. We should stop and get some water right now. We should drink water. Just thinking about water, just making me really thirsty.
He pulls out a pitcher and a glass and pours a cup of water, slides it across the desk.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so, I did that for a while, but, I think what really sold it for me was becoming an apprentice of the Sky Woman. Oh, she's a wonderful woman, and she's given me many water powers that I feel a deepened connection to water. No longer that I have to be in water all the time, but more that I am water, at least 70% water, and that water just is inside of me, and I don't need to seek it out all the time.
He writes that down. He says, Eddie the Frog, would you say that there is, after your connection with the Sky Woman, would you say that there is anything more important to you than water?
Yes. My sons, every single one of them, all my children, regardless of their gender, in fact.
He lifts up and he says, and what are your sons' names?
Okay, so a lot of sons. I have,
Yes, go on, Eddie.
There is Stefano, and Zer, and Aaron, and Reggie, and Oriward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And he says, then tell me, Eddie, tell me about your sons. Tell me about Stefano first.
Stefano was the silent child when he first came. That's all I've learned about him. But he's a very deep young man. He connects more dessert than to me, which I'm not proud of. But
One moment, my phone is ringing.
When your phone blows up in a therapy session.
God, there's gonna be hard questions. Eddie can't do it. Someone else must.
Eddie's going all out.
Don't worry, I have notes.
I don't.
Oh no.
I have some idea of where I'm going. I don't know where I'll end up though.
Good luck.
Thank you. There's something nice about a good tomato sauce. Just like
I
some
agree.
vinegar in it.
With some bread, tasty.
Mhm.
Anything to dip in it. Or a fork, even a spoon.
Yes. Having mine with kettle chips.
Ooh.
What was the one thing that Resco touched before and got consumed by like light or whatever?
That would be the little light.
Okay.
It's one of the children's terrors.
So he just touched it one day. Like he opened the chest in like the one Yamaguchi's like one room place that one time, right? Something like that?
Yes. It's not quite Yamaguchi. It was before y'all really knew who the big bad was. It was while y'all was dealing with the previous leader of the Torah. He had it on the desk, just sitting there.
Okay.
Alright. So I believe we were talking about Stefano, Eddie. Excuse me. I did not expect to get a call.
No problem. Well, that's what I got. He's quiet and doesn't talk to me much, but he talks to Zerd a lot. They're really good pals. I'm glad they found each other.
He writes this down. He says, Eddie the Frog, do you feel you have difficulty connecting with Stefano?
Well, I do realize, we're different generations, and he has a lot going on from his past, which I'm not necessarily aware of. But I think the best is to just support him, and the children will open up when they're ready. I'll just give them love and food. Support.
He writes it down. He says, Eddie, you seem very attentive to the needs of Stefano, but I do wonder if you may be afraid to connect to him because of the difference in not only your generation, but your species as well.
Well, I certainly I've been told that I am overwhelming, and I don't want to be too much for the children. So I want to give them enough space they need to grow. It's like I've been learning how to grow some things a long time ago. I was trying to start a little garden, and you can't water them every day. You have to make sure to check on them and water them when they need water and let them do what they need to do.
I see. And he writes that down. We'll get back to Stefano. And he looks around, is he one of the children in this room?
Yes.
Alright, then we shall get back to Stefano. let us talk about Zert next. Is he in this room?
Yeah.
And tell me about Zert.
Well, Zert, he was my first child, which doesn't mean I love him more, but I definitely have a deep connection
He
to
writes this down.
my fatherhood through him. Seeing as he was, who made me a father to begin with. And I love him, and we had, I met him for the first time when we were on one of our adventures, and it was so unexpected, and I was just like, hey, let me bring him home, and he was like, sure, as long as I'll murder you if you mess up and he dies. And here I am, and here he is, not dead.
He nods. He says, tell me, Eddie the Frog, do you normally acquire your adopted children during dangerous situations?
Oh yes, almost exclusively. Every time we go in dangerous situations, I'm just like, how could a small child be in danger? And I'm like, oh, we can make them safe at home. It's not like we ever get into danger.
Eddie he looks at you, Eddie, and he says, Eddie the Frog, it would appear you have a twin brother there. Could you tell me about him?
He is actually. So there's patient-doctor confidentiality, right?
Naturally. Though this is a family session, so everyone here will be aware of anything you say.
Oh. I'm pretty sure everyone knows. He's only twin brother. What does everyone know about my twin brother?
22 doesn't care.
Pretty sure Rusko probably is caught on by now.
Well, we don't have the same dad or anything.
I understand. But tell me more about his personality.
Well, we're like, the same. We have all the same goals in mind, and we talk to each other about everything. I don't know. It's like another half of myself.
Understood. Mr. Eddie the Frog's brother, what should I call you?
Eddie the Frog the Second.
You write that down. Eddie the Frog the Second. Tell me how you feel about your brother.
Well, as far as little brothers can go, he's all right. He doesn't get too annoying or nothing, so make sure he doesn't get into too much trouble.
He writes something down. Now, Eddie the Frog the Second, tell me about yourself.
Me, I'm just living one day at a time, trying to get through it. I don't have any, I'm not too attached to religion or water or nothing. Those are, his childhood trauma. But, just get up in the morning, wash my face off, and 1 foot at a time.
He says, Eddie the Frog the Second, do you feel as if you came into Eddie's life suddenly sometimes and wonder how long it will be until there's no place for you there anymore?
Oh, well, I think that, I did. It was kind of sudden. It was just like, poof, here I am. But I think I'll, be here for a long time. Maybe even longer than Eddie.
Interesting. Eddie the Frog the Second, how do you feel about Eddie's children?
Well, he can do whatever he wants with his life. He chose to dedicate it to children. I think that's, inspirational. He can do whatever he needs to. And they're my nephews, and, nieces if you got girls. But I'll support him. I'll watch him if I got to. But it's ultimately him making his own decisions.
He says it now. He says, Eddie the Frog the Second. Your life seems to revolve around Eddie. Do you ever wonder, or want, per se, freedom, for example?
Well, he had a more established young adulthood than I did, so he's in a more stable place than I am. But I'm hoping that I could gather enough funds and such to start maybe my own life with a nice frog lady of my own.
Right now. He turns back to you, Eddie. He turns back to Frank Eddie. He said, Eddie the Frog, how do you feel about what your brother is saying?
Well, he can get a frog lady if he chooses, but I wouldn't. I would much prefer myself a frog man. Maybe not even a frog.
Write that down as well. Interesting. He looks around and he says, Thank you, Eddie and Eddie the Frog. I would like to... Let's see, we started with the oldest member of your household, but how about we talk to... the newest member? And he looks up and he says, 22.
Yes, I came here about this book and some sort of letter about a locksmith. I was wondering if you could help me out with this.
I can. I believe I can help you help yourself.
No, just help me with the book.
Tell me, 22, where did this bibliophilic obsession come from?
It's kind of my job.
Tell me more.
Well, yes, you see, there's this book here, and I need it opened, and if you could do that, that'd be great, thanks.
Write something down. You seem singularly focused on the book there, 22. What do you think it will allow you to do when you open it?
He ponders for a second, looking down at it. I don't know. Kinda seems like my purpose, I guess. Makes me wonder if I'm just gonna disappear after this happens.
He writes. It says, 22. You urgently request that I assist you with this, but I wonder, have you turned to your housemates in seeking the answer to your book?
Yeah, what do they know?
He writes something down. He says, yes, let us figure out. What do they know? What have you told them about yourself, 22?
I told them that I need to find a book of infinite knowledge. I guess that's about it.
Do you feel that you may have left anything out?
Not that I know of.
He
Nothing
writes
that they would
down.
need to know.
He writes that down as well. He says, so, 22, when you get your book open, will you leave their lives?
I'm not actually sure. I don't even know if I'm going to leave my own life.
He writes it down. He says, when did you come into their life, 22? What drew you toward them?
Well, I heard that they had some sort of portal passage to some sort of library, so I made my way in and promptly tried to find it. Unfortunately, it wasn't working at the time, so I stuck around, and here I am.
He writes something down. He says, 22, I would like to try some word association. And he holds up his finger. Give me one moment.
Okay.
Who chooses who lives at our house? Who did let you stay with us?
Well, to be fair, he just walked in and stayed.
I think it was his decision.
I guess that's fair.
I wonder if we
Oh.
should make rules about who stays and who goes at some point.
Nah, he'll be alright.
Yeah, it's
22.
okay.
I would like to, yes, word association. Please, and he write down word association. You can see he's writing word to say to you and preparing himself to write what you say in response. And so he starts with book.
Home.
Is that all? Oh,
Home.
home. Interesting. Let's try home then.
He'll do that thinking pose and look down. Book. Infinite
You don't
knowledge.
seem certain. Infinite knowledge.
He'll look around the room and then just look back down. Nope, no clue.
He writes, and he says, let us try some names then. Let us start with Resco.
Intelligence.
He writes, let us go then to Eddie the Frog.
I don't think there's enough books in the world that could categorize him.
No.
I shall say enigmatic.
Sure.
How about Eddie the Frog II?
Trustworthy.
Fascinating. How about Courier?
He's a very studious man. Lad. Person. Human. Human.
Studious.
Sorry,
Interesting.
I just wanted to give you your piece, so I avoided talking.
What's that?
One more time, Courier. Can you repeat that one more time?
Sorry, I just wanted to give you your piece so that everyone could talk through their issues.
Interesting. Then let us go to the children next. The two we have here. Stefano.
Quiet.
How about Zert?
Potentially the key to find what I need.
I shall write down key.
What is it that you need?
Yes, 22. What is it that you need?
I'm in need of Alazam. He's been talked about as someone who has lots of information.
Yes. 22, I noticed a focus on studioness in your... Studioness, not a word. That's not a word. A sort of academic focus in your interpretation of people. You call Resco intelligent. You call Eddie the Frog II trustworthy. Coel studious. What do you think these aspects they come out to you? Why do you think they are your primary focus?
I feel as though everyone here... No. Everyone seeks some sort of knowledge. And how we categorize them depends on what type of knowledge they're looking for. So that's just how I think of them.
You're right. Interesting. You marked Eddie the Frog II as trustworthy, but his brother as enigmatic. Why do you suppose that is?
Well, I feel as though whenever Eddie II comes to me with something, we seem to have some sort of line of trust, I guess.
He turns to Eddie the Frog II and says, Eddie the Frog, the second. Would you say that 22 is trustworthy?
Absolutely.
Would you say you trust him more than your brother?
More? I mean, he's not blood or anything, but barely Eddie is also. So no, I think we get along. It's a different kind of. It's different having a friend you ain't related to.
Eddie the Frog the second. 22 said that Zert could be the key, as he is your nephew and your brother's son, as that works. How do you feel about this?
I think it's really good for Zert to be making connections with people who are outside of our family. Bring in a really good supportive circle for him to help raise him, especially since Eddie doesn't have a husband or anything.
Interesting, I see. Then I would like to ask... Cody, are you still with us?
Yep. Oh crap, I turned it.
Alright. So he says, I would like to ask the older individuals of the household, how do you all feel about 22? Let us start with Resco.
Well, what to really say? He showed up one day and just started coming around with us, and he hasn't really destroyed much, and that's, I don't know. I mean, the way I got involved with all this, it was just, I ended up going with the group, so I can't really say that you should oust people because they want to be with another collective of people that they deserve a chance to be included. So, I've spent a lot of time with him. I've talked to him, and
He says, go ahead.
I'm glad he is here with us today. Kind of looks over
says,
at 22.
Alright. So, Dr. Thaddeus, he says, tell me, Fresco, as a matter of a moment of truth. This is a truth hour now. We must be honest. Tell me, have you had any bad experiences with 22?
Oh, well,
Pulls out a scroll and just rolls it out. Wow.
that is his writing theories. Yes.
I have concerns sometimes about the amount that he drinks and the effect that could have on his long-term health and maybe those around him sometimes.
He looks over to you, 22, and he says, I did not know you had a drinking problem.
Yeah, it helps me feel like I'm an actual person sometimes. Just ignore that.
I will not ignore that. Now, he said that he writes something down.
Look, I only came here to get this book open. If you have no information for me, then I guess I could leave.
But if you leave now, how will you never know if you the book open? How will you ever know, rather?
I suppose.
Very good. Eddie the Frog, what are your feelings about 22?
He's alright.
Interesting. Only alright.
I mean, I don't talk to him much. I don't know. He's friends with my brother, and then they're, any friend of Eddie's is a friend of mine.
He nods. write something down. Very interesting. Very interesting. Eddie wait, before I move on, Eddie the Frog, do you have any bad experiences with 22?
Do I?
Nope, she absolutely is not. Next.
I'm pretty sure there's probably some.
Nope, not a clue. Nope, keep going.
I will write down probably some. Very good. Eddie the Frog, 22. No, not 22. Eddie the Frog, the second. You are very cordial with. You are very cordial with 22. Do you have any bad feelings about him? Any bad experiences with him?
Oh yeah, but that's a part of any friendship. We go through tough times and good times, but that doesn't mean anything.
I see. Interesting. He's writing.
Yep.
Then I suppose that leaves Coel. Coel, what are your feelings about 22? Coel, are you still with us? Uh-oh.
Al?
Albert? Albert, are you present? I don't suppose he is. Unfortunately, we'll have to return to him if he awakens.
He meditates a lot. He's.
Indeed. I see that he is even in this trance-like state now. Let me write something down. Then, let us step away from 22 for a moment and go to you, Rascal. Though you are not the oldest, what role would you say you play in this family?
Well, I'd say everyone has kind of had, played different roles at different times, and I guess I try to look out for everyone when I can.
Indeed. And tell me, Rascal, how often do you try to look out for yourself?
Well, I wouldn't say that I don't include myself necessarily when I'm looking out for everyone else. But I've been just following this path for some time. And it's not, there's been some hardships and bad things that came up, but there's also been a lot of good, and I've seen myself built up, and it's been nice on occasion getting to see some of my friends here built up, and I guess that's what I've gotten out of it.
Tell me something, Rascal. In the event that you find yourself in a situation similar to 22, where he has this desperate desire, who do you feel you can most turn to help you address your issue?
I guess it would depend on the issue, but I feel like Eddie is really chill, and then Coel, I think, is really rational. 22, he's pretty smart. Even Zert and Stefano, well, I don't know as much about Stefano because he doesn't talk much, but Zert, he knows other languages and stuff like that.
Interesting. So you would say that you have people to turn to in your times of need?
Yes.
Then tell me, Resco, in the dangerous sort of situation that you find your life in regularly, do you ever feel that you have to make sure those people are taken care of?
Well, yes, of course.
Interesting.
I'm
Resco,
sure
you are the second. Go ahead.
I'm sure they often take care of me.
Cool.
You know,
Resco, you are the second to mention a bit of a disconnect with Stefano. What do you think that is? Do you find that you don't really have a place in the life of Eddie's children?
Well, I mean, I've seen Zert and I see Stefano. Then I've talked with Zert every now and then. I'm helping Eddie with this business and stuff like that. That's one Will. Stefano, I think it's just the circumstances that we came across him were not your typical, most children, when you adopt them, maybe you go to a place to adopt them and you're told about the child, and we're just finding out that there's links to this, to Stefano that we never even knew about.
Interesting.
I mean, we, this was a child that was taken. He was in jeopardy, and we thought it was someone else at the time, even. And we brought him into our life, and I'm glad that he's developed a friendship with Zert.
I understand. I would like to ask Eddie the Frog and 22 a question. 22.
Yes.
If you found out right now that Stefano could open your book, what would you do?
Well, then I'd immediately tell him to open the book.
And what
As a matter
would
of fact,
do
do you know how to open the book, Stefano?
as you approach Stefano? Zerk stands up and trying to get between the two of you.
Please.
Dr. Thaddeus writes this down.
I'm just asking a simple question. I'll go back over.
Indeed,
But you would tell me if you could, right?
The boy just sort of looks away from you.
I'm not sure he said anything to you ever.
Well, maybe the first words to him will be, I can open your book. You can never be too sure.
22. In the event that he could open, but he refused to, what would you do?
What wouldn't I do?
Interesting. Eddie the Frog II. Hearing him say that, how do you feel about 22?
Well, that's quite alarming, but I'm sure if given the opportunity, he would really settle down and think about the options before just, doing anything too wild,
And Eddie the Frog, how do you feel about that? He pours another cup of water.
Thank you.
Resco, how do you feel about Zert's need to protect Stefano from 22?
Why are we letting this dangerous man say that?
Sterling.
Interesting.
Why is this always about me? I'm sure you all would do that if your information was being stolen from you.
You say stolen, but you possess the book, 22. So is the information not in your possession?
I suppose.
Interesting. And he writes and he says, I see. I am getting a good idea of this household, the type of situation you all are in. I definitely feel that it was necessary for you all to have this meeting with me. He says, I don't want to do a scene where I'm talking to myself, so that's why I haven't gone to him asking Zerd if I yet.
Do it.
But he says, then, no, before I proceed, I have another question for Eddie the Frog. Eddie the Frog, you've mentioned this, and Fresco sort of shines some light on it. Is there any normal means by which you found yourself adopting a child?
Well, then I could adopt a child, the traditional route, but I'm kind of old. I don't have it, so someone, I don't have a lot of stability. I have stability. I just don't have. I'm not portraying the image of stability,
Well, I mean, technically, we've probably had okay, this is more a question to Nashu. Considering we've had this business up and running for a while, we probably would have like a lot of other people like taking their children to our like school thing to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, in that respect, we've been taking care of children in a relatively normal circumstance.
He looks at his note and he says, but do any of the names Eddie listed, are they children you happen upon through normal circumstance?
No.
Eddie the Frog, I would like to ask you a few questions. I would like to name the children, the one that you mentioned to me, and I would like you to tell me how you met them.
Oh God!
Before we start, let's start with Zert.
Well, Zert, he's an easy one. We were in some Goblin. There was Crawford.
Yes, Crawford.
Crawford. He was a goblin that we were working with at the time, and there was a whole room of orphan goblins, and
I think Chris.
He Chris.
Yeah, the name you're looking for is Chris Crawford.
Chris Crawford.
Yeah, Crawford was the one that was gonna murder them all.
Wait, listen, they were both involved.
He's the one that made them orphans.
Well, that happened, and then I had an orphan.
See, interesting. Let's move on to Stefano's then. Shed some light on the situation Fresco just explained. Where were you when you met Stefano?
We were in some sort of alternate reality.
Fantastic.
And he was being snatched up. We thought he was Zert because Zert got stolen, but he wasn't Zert. He was Stefano in somebody's arms, who I definitely remember who that was. And we beat him up and stole him back.
I don't think we beat him up.
Stop, we did.
Thaddeus writes down your two conflicting statements, and he says, considering that you acquired Stefano from another dimension, do you ever wonder if the boy you see in front of you is actually what he seems to be.
Well, I mean, we couldn't leave him there. He can be whoever he wants to be, whoever he grows up to be, whoever he is does not change how I feel about him.
Fascinating. That's good to hear. Write this down. Let us move on. You mentioned an Ori word. Where did you meet him?
Ori word is
The half elf. The weird tiger.
oh tiger. Yep, that's all I know. Oh no! We were in like the statue land, right? Is this the statue time? There was
I'm
like
not quite sure.
we were turning. There was a whole bunch of people that were statues, and they were children, and we only found that out after fucking like murdered them all. Except this one we didn't murder, and we brought them home.
He writes and he says, well, just for the narrative's sake, out of character, it was this was a part of Spicy Cole's, it was the dream, the imprisoned dreamer arc. One of the dreams was an infinite gladiatorial arena,
Yeah.
that had a bunch of were-tigers in it. And yes, they were all children that were murdered, except for Ori Word, who you also Gios, but you didn't mention that part too. Dr. Teddy.
That's none of his business.
So he says, and tell me, did Ori Word feel comfortable coming with you?
No, but it was either murder him like the rest, or save him at a discomfort for him for a while.
And
So
would you say, Eddie the Frog, that you see yourself as something of a savior for the children?
Well, I just want to do my best and do my part, and a lot of people think that it's unconventional and that I'm not doing a great job, but seeing what kind of reality we live in, I'd rather be doing a terrible job than be doing nothing at all.
He writes that down and says, tell me about a Blink. You mentioned his name with a bit of derision when you mentioned the killing of children. Do you think that Blink did this intentionally?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. I don't really know what's going on with him. I don't necessarily have a huge trust factor there, but he's part of the family.
See, if you had to choose between trusting 22 with your children and trusting Blink, who would you be more willing to trust?
Oh boy.
I'd like to point out that I know party tricks.
I have a on-call babysitter actually that I just think real hard and she appears, so I'm not sure that would be a problem.
I see, very well. Who's unwilling to make a choice? Alright then. Let us discuss the matter. What? We weren't done, were we? Yes. Another of your children, Reggie the Frog. Where did you meet him?
We were in the dream world, and
It was during the Spicicle, the Caladium Red.
It was the thing where the people stood up and were like, "Oh, I'm not a terrible person, I swear." And then we told them they were all terrible people. And he was running some organized gang underground, and he was concerned about his other orphan gang children, which made him be marked as a negative entity by their government, but I didn't care because they were doing their best.
I see. Another child, you would say you saved then, right?
Well, yeah, I provided him opportunities for growth.
I see. Then let us go to the last name you mentioned. Aaron. How did you meet him?
I think he's the arm guy.
He is.
I'd never know where we go. But we were like in an empty room, and I was like, "Hey, let me tear off your arm," and he was like, "That's a bad idea," and I was like, "You're right."
You
And
write that down.
and then we escaped together, and he did not destroy the entire village.
Eddie the Frog,
Sorry.
could you tell me more about your thought to rip off the child's arm?
Well, you see, it was destroying the entire village, and it was destroying the village to the extent where he was destroying himself. So I was trying to make the decision, should I let that happen, or should I try to let him grow without it? But we decided that it would be best for him to have both arms.
I see.
And that's
I
all
see.
I really want is the best for my children.
Resco, how did you feel about, in the moment where Eddie adopted each of these children, what were your feelings on the matter?
Well, I think I had a lot of confliction. At least with some of them. Some of them I think I was probably more understanding. But then there's, I think it's in just the heat of the moment when, how do you make that sort of decision about what is and isn't right? I mean, at the end of the day, Eddie did still, like, Ori Word, for example. I mean, he would be dead if Eddie didn't bring him home. In those moments, it's a lot of the times I've kind of wondered, to be honest. But
See. It's almost as if it adds another sense of responsibility to you. You would say, Resco?
well, it depends. I think we've ended up in the process of everything. We've developed a kind of a network of just somehow caretakers and a whole business to take care of the children. I think it's be problematic in the sense of having another child kind of in the house, but some of them are older, and some of them even have jobs and contribute to the businesses of our friends. I think I try to look at it now from the perspective of I'm in this group and we've come some ways, and who am I to judge so harshly what my friends decide to do with their lives when we have resources available to help us?
He writes it down and says, understood. Of course. So, he turns to Zert and Stefano and he says, boys, you are young, so I'll understand if you find difficulty putting this into words, but your life changed drastically on the day you met Eddie the Frog. How did you feel about this occurring? And Dirk swims in his chair a bit and says, well, I felt like I got abandoned at first. I know that. He looks at 22 for a moment. He says, I know that a very important person thought that it would be better for me to be with Eddie, but all my friends just left without me, and I haven't seen them in a while. But I made a new friend, and things have been alright. There are a lot of nice people. Like there's a lady Yulia who comes over sometimes, and there's a lady next door who has she brings pies and cookies and stuff like that. And as Resco knows this really tough-looking lady, she says she owns a bar. And she said that when I'm old enough, I can come down there and she'll pour me her top shelf alcohol. And I don't think I'll like alcohol, but I think that'd be nice. And I think even though I haven't seen everyone in a while, I like it there because there's a lot of people that I get to meet, a lot of different people that come in all the time. And Dr. Thaddeus writes it down. Returns to you. Go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead, actually.
Yeah. Sir, would you ever want to, visit them all again? See if they're still there? Or...
He kind of shrugs and he says, I think there's a reason I have to be here, and I get it. I don't get to see my family, but when everything is done, I think Eddie will take me to see them one day. Right, Eddie?
We can go wherever you want.
We
Eddie's the frog.
Crazy lives as is, and sometimes you just have to find something to enjoy and be happy about in the moment. So if you ever want to go there, between all this craziness, I mean, we definitely can.
He writes that down when you say that. Then he turns to you, 22, and he says, 22, do you hear what Eddie and Resco are saying?
The fact that he's supposed to leave?
Not that he's supposed to leave, but that they're willing to help him in the event that he does want to go home.
You do understand that I need you, right?
Well, Daddy holds up his hand and he says, 22, do you perhaps think that if they're willing to help Zert, then they'd be willing to help you?
Yeah, they haven't really been doing that much of that.
But have you asked them for help?
You usually show if you can help or not.
He writes that down. He says, Eddie the Frog, in the event that you did take Zert to see his old friends and family, and he wanted to stay, how would you react to that?
Well, someone's gonna have to pay for him to eat, live, and if he's willing to do that on his own, yeah, of course that would be something that would be open, but someone's gonna have to host him and be willing to. Well, it'll have to be a big discussion,
And you feel that someone is you, Eddie the Frog?
Well, it is right now, but if we went back to the village and we could find some of his extended family, I would be willing to work with them and pay to host him whatever he would be happiest, I've been earning money with the school, so that should be a possibility.
I see. I would like to have a moment between Zert and 22 here. Zert, 22 mentioned that, he thinks of you as a key, perhaps literal in the instance of his book, or metaphorical, figurative. How do you feel about that? And Zert said, 22 reminds me of Lifescope. He seems like the type of person who just wants to get what he wants sometimes. And I know that you gotta watch out for those type of people because you can help them, but not all of them are good people. And Dr. Thaddeus looks over to you, 22, and he says, how do you feel about that, 22?
Well, suppose it hurts a little that he thinks of me as someone like Lystoke. But I've only heard his name through the grapevine. Maybe he's a great person in person.
And he said to Zerk, what type of person was so? And Zerk says,
He sent a bunch of bad people to kill everybody in the cave we were living in. And then he locked us up in a cell and he was going to perform experiments on us.
Yes, but why did he do it?
Because he wanted power or something? I don't know.
and Dr. Thaddeus looks at you, 22, and says, do you feel that the pursuit of power justifies the drama that the boy experienced?
I do think that it's at certain points that you can cause a bit of casualties for what you want, yes.
See,
22, how would you feel if something happened to your book as a result of someone else getting what they wanted?
Well, then I'd torture and kill them.
What if that wouldn't bring your book back?
Yeah, he'll ponder on that and say nothing.
and he'll say, that was a good question, Rascal. 22, I do want you to think about it. This book of yours is important to your life, as were the people important to Zerk's life. Perhaps it is because of the disconnect between you, your feelings, and his, that he hasn't yet felt that he can trust you. And in the event that you have more of a connection, Zerk can help you.
So you're saying I should get on his good side, and perhaps he will be friends with me to get to Alazam. Understood.
He writes that down.
22 will come behind Zert and give him a back massage. No, an
Zerk will
shoulder
stand
massage.
up and go over to where Eddie's suit is sitting at.
Well, I tried.
Interesting. Fascinating. And I suppose, well, no, let us turn back to you, Eddie the Frog. Considering, no, Eddie the Frog 2, the second. You trust 22, yes?
I mean, I'll have a beer with the guy, you know. More of like a weekend kind of friend, I think.
For Eddie the Frog the second, would you say that your feelings of 22 have changed since you come to my office?
We all have our demons, you know, and so it's just I'm aware of said demons, and he's working on them. You know, he has a lot of personal growth to do. I'll have a drink with him.
I see. 22, I have a question for you. You seek the key to open your book, but what if the key had been in front of you all this time, in pieces you did not put together because you could not understand that when they came together, they were a key?
Are you saying I could use some sort of spell and turn all my friends into the key?
He writes that down. Interesting. Let us talk of this book focus. Has there ever been another book in your life, 22, that you have coveted as much as the one you're holding?
Well, I'm hoping that this is the book that I've been coveting. The Book of Infinite Knowledge.
And what do you hope to do with that infinite knowledge?
I don't think it's for me. I think I should be the one who's protecting it. To be honest, I'm not sure what the hell I'm doing.
Interesting. You feel that you've mentioned before that your possession, presumably this book, was stolen from you, and it is your hope that the one you're holding is the new book. The very same book. Does it look like the same book? Was the one you previously saw also locked up?
I don't know.
Interesting. Let us talk of protecting this book. As you see yourself as a protector, 22, what if the lock on that book is also a means of protection?
Then I suppose the protection needs to go away? So
But
that I can
if
confirm?
I see. But what if there is a negative to opening this book? Say, let us theorize for a moment. You let something out.
Well, I suppose it should have been that way, I guess. If I'm the one who's been to seek out the book, then the consequence of it isn't my fault. It's the fault of the reason why I'm doing it in the first place, I suppose.
Then I would like to ask you a question, 22. Who are you?
I wish I knew that too. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure where I got the name 22 from.
Then how can you be confident that you are the protector of the book?
Because when I close my eyes and think about anything, it's my will to carry the book and bring it back to where it belongs, wherever the hell that might be. That's the only thing I think of.
See,
That's probably why I'm drunk.
where did you acquire the book you're currently holding?
Another dimension.
Interesting. Was the book you feel you were guarding, the one of infinite knowledge, also from another dimension?
Suppose that's possible. I never gave it much thought.
See. And are you from another dimension?
I don't know. Maybe?
See. So, you have a very centralized focus on the book you're holding, hopeful that it is the book of infinite knowledge, willing to unlock it just to confirm it, even if there are negative side effects. 22. Are you familiar with constructs?
Right, yes. We have one at home. It gives me stuff that I need.
Could you tell me what the task of this construct is?
He usually says cooking and cleaning.
I see.
Connie is tasked with living.
I see. He writes both of those down. And he says, 22. What is your goal in life?
I don't have one. I just want to return the book to its rightful place and guard. Or at least
Would you
that's what I
say
think.
that this need for the book drives you?
I'd definitely say that. I wouldn't do anything otherwise. Well, I guess I have been doing things otherwise.
Were you to acquire this book, would you drop every other aspect of your life and dedicate yourself to guarding it?
He'll hesitate for a split second and then say, of course.
See. 22. Forgive me if this insults you in some way, but I would like to ask, could you be a construct?
What? No, of course. Nah. He'll turn back into a cat.
Indeed. And he writes that down. Well. And he says, it's very curious, isn't it? This singular focus on this book, it is the most important aspect of your life. Protect it or bring it to someone, and you attach yourself to the book you're currently holding, regardless of whether or not, regardless of what the book actually is. You don't fully know quite yet. I have one more question for you, 20.
Hmm.
What would you do if you found out that that book was not the one you're looking for?
Well, I guess I'd just toss it aside and look for the actual book again.
See. You right there now. You right the time, yes. It's very curious. Then let us go over to Resco and Eddie the Frog. And Eddie the Frog the second. Listening to everything 22 has said thus far, what are your thoughts?
It
Who's
makes
letting
me-
him stay here? Here's all of his goals are very nomadic in mind, and there's not much he can draw from a community anyway. Are we an inn?
No.
Yeah.
Dr. Thaddeus. Go ahead.
It makes me think of an experience I had not too long ago with this thing called the light. It was something that it came inside me. It filled me with suggestions about how I should live my life and interact with things. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes when I close my eyes, it's there. This want to purge the darkness. And when I see even just anyone attached to Yameshta, even if they are friends, sometimes I have this want to fix it. But I also know that I've seen so many times people with things inside them, entities with all varying relationships, and I know that it's just a feeling. It's not who I am, and that everything about me that makes me me is the life that I've been living up to now, and the life I have now, and every relationship and the stuff I've built. That this feeling is just a feeling that I don't want to ever define me. I want to get rid of this feeling, and I wonder if you feel the same, 22. Is that why you drink?
Yes, I was actually going to touch on that. You mentioned a bit ago, too, a very interesting thing about why you drink. Do you remember what it is?
No.
Let's go. Do you recall what it is?
You said you drink because you see that book in your head all the time. And every time you just see it, you just want to find it and can't find it. It makes you want to drink. But what happens after you find it? What if you see everything? What if you know everything? Then what if this house was empty? What if everyone was gone from it? and you had all that knowledge, but no one there.
All I know is it's my task and I have to complete it.
Indeed. Your task with completing this task. If I was to tell you, 22, that I knew where another book was, would you want to acquire it?
Another book or the book?
Another book. Very similar to the one you are holding.
I wouldn't care.
I see. So right now, the only book you are interested in is the one in your possession.
Well, it was given to me by someone who said it'll give me the truth, so...
And very right. Zert, how do you feel about 22 right now? Zert looked down over the side of the couch at you. He says,
Sometimes I dream about books too, and they appear to me. Sometimes I have to ask Eddie to get them, or I'll ask Oliver to get them, and I can read them. And I think about them because they're important. And books I have to read. I have to read a lot of them because we have to be prepared. And I get it. And if you're just a little nicer, I'll help you open your book.
Wait, really? Yeah, sure, I'll do anything that you want. He'll jump up on the couch next to him and rub his face against it.
he stands up and walks back across.
I don't understand.
He says, indeed. And rather, Dr. Thaddeus says, indeed, there is much you need to come to understand. Now, he says, we have dwelt on 22 for a bit, but I've neglected one last person in this room, and it is the young Stefano. And he looks and says, are you able to communicate through any means? And of course the boy doesn't say anything, but Zert shakes his head for him. He says, and rather Dr. Thaddeus looks over to you, Eddie, and he says, does Stefano know his letter?
Does what?
Stefano know his letters.
I think so. I think Zert and Stefano share notes. Yeah, they do. They have to. I think because of that one time they left us a note. Because they were reading a book together and they got sucked in. Maybe Zert was reading it to them. I don't know.
He nods. Interesting. Young Stefano, Phil don't need to speak. But I wonder, you now not done much to move away from Zert. Even as 22 approached, you were willing to sit still, wait there. Even when Zert moved across the room, you remained there as if you knew there would come a point where Zert would come back. Stefano, do you perhaps... how does one phrase this in a way that a child will be able to understand? Stefano, do you see things, perhaps the future? And Stefano just sort of looks at Zert, and Zert sort of doesn't quite nod, but doesn't quite say no either. And he says, are you perhaps afraid to speak? Not so much incapable of it, but afraid to speak because you don't know how to interact with the present. And Stefano looks to Zert again, and Zert nods, and he says, Eddie the Frog, Resco, 22. Eddie the Frog, the second. Tell me more about the situation you met Stefano in.
Do you know of the name Spicikoff?
For a moment, as you say this name, light sort of appears through Dr. Thaddeus' skin, glowing brightly, darkening. And then all in the instant, it fades away, and he says, Yes, I am aware of Spicicle.
Spicikoff threw us into a world filled with his games. And in between there, at some point, he stood across from us, taunting us. This image of Zert. He was holding a child in his hands. I leaped across the void, and I was able to grab him. And when we looked and checked, it wasn't Zert, but Stefano. It's just a child we brought back.
I see. May I ask you all if you are aware of what Spicicle is called?
The architect of adversity.
Indeed. And it is curious, is it not, that you met a child who cannot speak, who presumably can see into the future, or some variety of the future, and Spicicle was in possession of this child.
It is. In fact, recently, we've been seeing more and more how important this child is. I also think beyond that, yes, it's, his purpose, of course, which honestly, I'm going to say outside of the game. I forgot exactly what the important thing Spicikoff wanted. It's because he was like a gate or something, right? I don't.
With the vehicles of conflict, is to open the gate to let Spicicle completely back into this world. Right now, he can only send incarnations of himself. He can create little pocket spots of adversity, but can't enter the world. And by getting stuff out on the screen, or rather, they haven't figured it out yet, but you all know. If they can get stuff out on the screen, he will open the gate to Spicicle.
I know.
Wait, did we know this?
I'm pretty sure I told y'all. If I didn't, I just told y'all and spoiled. No, I told y'all. I'm pretty sure I told y'all.
Yeah, we learned something about that. I know. The screen part sounds familiar.
Yeah, and the Spicicle being sealed away part implied. We know
he's very important.
Well, all children are important.
Yeah. We want them to be able to live.
Well, all children, the point is for them to grow up and be something, and do something, and be a positive force in the world. That's all I can hope. That's all anyone can hope of their children. It doesn't matter if it's universe changing or on a local level. Everyone's.
Yeah, it's like we've grown up to be in the roles that we are living now.
Well, Dr. Daddy is racist. He says, I feel that we're already off to a very productive start to this session. For Stefano Resolving his unwillingness to talk will take time and effort. We must, what I will ask you all do, if it is not too much trouble, help him ground himself in the present moment. Let him see that the now is the now. I feel that his connection to Zert is based on. And he looks over to you, 22, and he says, I do think that all of you should do that.
Should I?
He says to you, 22, furthermore, I do think that you should open your book. Not simply because I believe that it may answer some of your questions, but because it may answer the most important question you have. Is this the book of infinite knowledge?
Well, yeah, of course.
And
That's why I want to open it.
I ask you one thing, 22.
Yes.
Were a person to read the book of infinite knowledge, what do you suppose would happen to them?
I suppose they could get perpetually trapped in some sort of feedback loop of information, but I don't know for sure. This is only a speculation.
Indeed. And are you willing to get trapped in this sort of situation just to confirm if this book is or not?
Well, it is what I want, so I suppose so.
Is it what you want, or what do you think you want?
It's all I know.
I see.
And why do you drink to run away from it?
Hell if I know.
I hope you find out one day.
Right. But go ahead. So Dr. Thaddeus will say, I believe what this family needs is an excursion, a trip, if you will. I know a place. He takes out a sheet of paper and starts writing. That may be worth visiting. And he says, yes. For Stefano and for 22. 22. Do you suppose you could hold off on opening that book until then?
If it opens, it opens.
What deals are you willing to make to open that book?
Honestly, I feel like nothing you can offer me could give me what I desire if it's not the book.
I do not have any, but there are many people like me who do.
Oh. Oh?
She nods for one moment.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I'll have to respond to something.
Oh, no, you're I was just being stupid.
He says, indeed, there's one that deals in keys and one that eats names. There are others as well, like the one that put the very lock in that book.
I need more information.
I will tell you this, and this alone. To open that book will invite the locker to haunt you. Are you fine with that?
Yeah, sure, why not?
See. But are your housemates fine?
Yeah, they'll be alright.
He looks at you all. Looks at you,
Write that
Resco.
for us. What is
He
this
looks at you.
locker?
Wait, there's a contractor, if you will. Someone who puts locks on things because they are requested to.
That sounds like something shady.
I cannot account for all of those who are like me. Some are good, and some choose to eat the names of others.
Oh, the name eater. Oh, no, that was somebody else. Never mind. What's this name
That's,
again? The name eater?
The name Taster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there we
you
go.
were. Yeah, as you said that, he said, yes.
Is
the
the
name
person
taster.
you're referring to the name taster?
It's terrifying.
Indeed, it is. Though to call it a person would be an error, I find.
Ah,
Nevertheless, that is it. Though, let us think. No. I want to hear more from Resco and Eddie the Frog and Eddie the Frog the Second. Concerning what 22 just said, if he opens his book, your lives could be put in danger. Are you fine with this?
No.
You know, we kind of established what the connection between.
What about you, Eddie the Frog the Second?
Well, while I support, the goals of my friends, I'm not gonna make
That was
it
hard
an
on the
overwhelming thing. There's more important things than your goals, especially if you have to put your goals on the back burner to support friends and family in their being alive. I don't know, what's more important, life or a book?
Yes, 22. What is more important, life or a book?
Honestly, I don't even see a difference. My life is the book currently.
What is the book doing for you?
Giving me purpose. Tell me, Roscoe, what is your purpose? What are you willing to die for, kill for, do anything for?
Well, I've almost died for my friends.
Would you kill for your
Several
friends?
times. I have before.
Would you murder a child in cold blood for your friends?
I prefer not to.
But he has before.
Zert raises his hand and says,
I really feel like 22 is going to try and kill me at some point.
I won't kill you. Your connection to Alizam is too important.
Yeah, that was probably bad. I have a question to ask also.
Go ahead, Eddie the Frog. The room is open to everyone.
Well, it's not that important. I just want to know, when I can touch old things again.
Ah, I see.
It's been a long time, and I've forgot to ask you a lot of times, and was just, wondering if you knew anything about that.
Well, I am currently serving the role of a psychological professional now. I can switch over for a moment. He takes a monocle out of his desk, puts it on, and comes over.
He's gonna get a hammer out and start working on her house.
He sits in front of you. He says,
I didn't know it.
Open your eye widely, Eddie the Frog.
I thought it was psychological, but okay, sorry. Opens eyes widely.
And he peers in and he says, It lays dormant, but not quite dead.
Oh.
What is
How
it exactly?
interesting. It is a tool in one way or another, or a punishment, one could say.
For what?
A means by which to stop
Spider.
information from being stolen. Alizam writes the story that your Zerk reads. And he does it through means of a piece of technology. You may have seen it before. It resembles an arachnid.
Well, that one spider that one time that I was just trying to be friends with.
Tell me, Eddie the Frog, did you try to dominate the mind of this spider?
No, I was just like seeing what it was thinking, and it was like, hey, I want to live inside you, and I was like, there's plenty of room in here.
Well, you see, by coming in contact with it in such a manner, a self-defense ward of sorts activated. And a part of this mechanism is instead of you threatening to turn you into another of the story writers, if you are too, let us say, haphazard with the items you come in contact.
What about the objects that I come in contact with?
If you come in contact with any ancient mechanism, then the ward placed inside of you will activate, and you will become one of Alizam's story writers.
Oh.
Hmm.
Okay? He takes off his monocle.
Well,
Every time.
Before
Forever.
you take that off,
yeah, can you look at Snoog also?
yes, the
He puts it-
one light
ahead.
thing that
Yeah,
I
he puts
mentioned
it
before.
He puts it back on, takes a look, and he says, yes, your contact with the literal light dwells within you currently. It is growing in response to this growing shadow. Will this be a good thing or a bad thing? I do not know. I do know that the children's terrors are exactly what they were. Terrors. Threat that the children fear. For now, go ahead, Resco.
How can I get rid of this?
As matters have it, there is a way. A
Wait, hold on.
way,
Is there a way for me too?
yes, for
Oh!
both you and Resco, and even 22. It is, and he looks over to the clock for a moment. No, it would not be available currently, but when it is, you would be able to remove your little curse, as would Resco, and 22 may well be able to open the book, though I don't know if he will be patient.
This is why we can't go on vacation, and this is why we can't have a combined family, because we have too many things to do.
In this situation, what I mean to offer you all is a vacation. You are in dire need of one, and in the coming weeks, I would have you all. he says, as the DM knows that Resco will not be able to rest, I would have you all avoid any extraneous conflict to rest
Get
your
right on
mind and body.
But I feel the only way to get the knowledge of this book is by throwing myself into the most conflicting things possible.
Then,
The doctor's telling you that's not true.
indeed, there is another by which you can open this book to.
I'm currently in a spot right now where my inaction could lead to the end of a nation. And that could lead to something that could be destructive for all of us if we're not careful.
Indeed. I understand.
But I will try when I can.
No, it is understandable. You may be fine, Rascal. As a warning to you, I would simply say, avoid allowing the shadows to touch you.
I'll do everything I can. Thank you.
Good. As for you, 22, he looks at you.
Yes, you're
He
right.
says, I want you to think of the book you're currently holding as a test. I would like you to look at this book and say to yourself, this is not the book I'm looking for.
Is there a reason, or?
Let us simply try the words out first.
Something within me tells me I shouldn't do that.
But try. Very well then. Let us try another thing. Hand the book over to me.
What do you want with it?
I will hold on to it. No harm will come of it. It will be in my office where you will be able to acquire it later.
And what if I find a key? Then would I have to run all the way to you to open it?
You can't
No.
open it.
As your doctor, I would know immediately that you are in need of me, and I would bring the book myself.
How the hell does that work?
Doctor-patient confidentiality.
22, for what it's worth, that book's probably safer in his hands than the hands of anyone else I know.
I think it's safer in my hands than anyone else I know.
So in my defense, I never should have come and visited him anyway, because he would have just told me when I was ready. Like, ding, you're ready.
Oh,
No.
Hey, welcome back. You snapped back to reality.
Oh, snap, there
goes
goes
gravity.
gravity.
The Koei of meditation just break for a moment.
It's been a long time. Kind of overheard a few things.
Are you capable of playing, Koei? We can get a scene in with Koei real quick.
Yeah, I was actually ready to play when I was saying that I wanted to let everybody else go through their issues, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's not my turn. And then I crashed.
Understandably so.
Oh.
So we'll say as well. 22. What are you going to use that wisdom save for?
Oh, that was just
wisdom check.
power
Yeah,
of will.
go ahead. All right.
Whether or not I
how
could
does
do it.
Yeah, can he do it? Does 22 feel that he can?
Yeah, he felt that he could do it. So I suppose he
So
did.
Dr.
Well,
Thaddeus looks at you. Oh, okay. So he takes the book.
Reluctantly.
Nods down to you, 22, and says, I promise you that this will be worth it. As he takes the book, and you stir, Koei, he returns to his desk. He puts the book in his coat. He sits down and he says, Koei, how fortunate that your meditation has come to a close. I would like to get your thoughts on some of the things we discussed here.
Of course. You may have to remind me of some of the things we discussed.
Absolutely, there should be no issue. Let us start with one of the more pressing matters here. Eddie's adoption of his children. How have you responded to these situations?
To his
As it was explained, Eddie the Frog has adopted his children during dangerous situations. Presuming you were in those situations, how did you respond?
well, at first, you know, I mean, it was like he was saving these kids from the situations that they were in, but at a point, it kind of became pathological.
Hmm. Hmm. Tell
It's
me,
all,
Koiel,
mhm.
do you feel that Eddie the Frog is a good father?
To his kids.
Yes.
I believe he tries his best.
Oh,
I see, I see.
I'm saying my best isn't good enough.
Tell me, Koiel, next, what is your feelings on Resco? He often has a lot on his plate. Do you feel that you are in a similar situation, or are you there by Resco's side? What is your feelings on Resco?
Well, well, Asko really does usually have a lot on his plate. I, on the other hand, do not. Frankly speaking, I have a lot of free time for escapades or adventures or other things of that nature. I haven't really had to personally deal with anything or any issues, but um, if possible, I would like not just Resco, for everyone here, I would like to be able to shoulder some of the weight of your responsibilities.
He nod, he nod. Gabrielle, tell us. There was a moment where we had, what I had 22 speak about himself, and I wanted to get the opinion of everyone here concerning 22. What are your feelings about him?
I think 22. I think 22 actively works for his own agenda,
Hmm,
but
I
he does
see.
so in a manner that avoids harm to his allies if possible. But he's not afraid to get his hands dirty.
Hmm. We
And
touched on many things here. And I'm curious, do you think that 22 is a danger to Eddie's kid?
as long as they don't have anything to do with his personal quests, they're fine. But if one
And
of them so
go ahead,
happens
go ahead.
if one of them so happened to be linked in any way, then there there could be issues.
Let's see. In the event that 22 seemed dangerous, what would you do?
What I always do with threats,
I see. And 22, how do you feel about this?
Okay, we all have to do what we have to do, I suppose.
Hmm, interesting. Interesting. Koiel, one more question about 22. Then I would like to speak about Eddie, and then finally about you in honesty.
okay?
Tell me, have you had any bad experiences with 22? Please, be honest.
I I have the the experience in question was when 22 delved into my personal background without my permission.
Hang on a second here. What evidence do you have that I did something
I
so
pull out the
heinous?
book that I've been holding on for this whole time.
I knew it.
I see. 22 and Koyel. Could you tell me about this book? I would have 22 tell me first.
Yeah, you know your friend the Name Taster? We made a deal so that I can get that, but he stole it from me, so it's his fault.
The Name Taster is not my acquaintance. It is merely a thing that is similar to me.
Fair enough.
So, Koyel, why did you steal this book?
Because I believe power like this should be wielded responsibly and not to the immediate personal gain of any one individual. Being able to instantly delve into other people's backgrounds can be useful when searching for information that is normally guarded, but an absolute crime when it pertains to people you should be caring about.
I just wanted information.
He looks over to you, 22, and he says, between the book you handed over to me and the book in Koyel's possession, which would you prefer to receive now?
Absolutely the book I gave to you.
See, so this book in front of you, though it seems to possess some idea of knowledge to an infinite degree, you do not want it.
Potentially.
See, 22, I would like you to try another thing. I would like you to look Koyel in the eye and tell him that you trust him with the book.
I'll look him in the eye and be like, I trust you with the book?
I roll insight.
Go ahead. "22. Were you telling the truth? Or were you just doing what Dr. Thaddeus said?
Yeah, just doing what Dr. Thaddeus said.
Alright. Dr. Thaddeus makes a note of his book. And he says, Koyel, were 22 to request the book's return, would you do it?
No.
See. Understandable. Then, believe me, right, wait, did I say we were going to touch on Eddie the Frog next? I think we already did that when we talked about the inheritance. Let's go, actually, 22. Not 22. Korea, what do you think of Eddie the Frog the second?
Oh. Being frankly honest, I don't really have much of an opinion on Eddie the Frog to...
And Eddie the Frog the second, how do you feel about this? Do you want a connection with Koya?
Well, I mean, we're cordial enough. I trip over him sometimes, not on purpose. I always make sure to come back and cover him in with a blanket. When I do, I feel quite badly, but otherwise, I think we get along fine.
The tripping is okay. I can't take personal offense since I occasionally fall into meditation spells. So, I do appreciate the blankets, though.
Indeed. I see. Then, Koyel, let us at last touch on you. You meditated for quite a while here. Could you tell us about yourself? What sort of connection you have with everyone here, and why you find yourself staying around when As you say, you have so much free time at work.
I suppose I can start with my connection with everyone else. Generally speaking, I feel welcomed as a household member here. I haven't really given all of you the opportunity to know me that well, but I would hope that we're at least appreciative of our mutual benefit from the relationship we carry thus far.
See? Then tell us now about yourself.
Nothing special about me. I was monk from First Will. Grew up there. I worked more or less for them for a few years before eventually taking on a job and dealing with a certain incident before deciding to see the world for myself and branching out of First Will, where I met all of you.
I see. And Coriel, is there, let us phrase this in a way that is not accusatory. Do you feel as if there is a storm lingering over you at any time?
Not necessarily a storm, but like a growing dark abyss of sorts.
I see. Understood. Then I think it will be enough for now. Yeah. Though, I would like to see you all again after the vacation I have planned for you. Gabrielle, during your meditation, we ascertained a few things about your housemate, specifically the children. Young Stefano here. He has the ability, or some variety of the ability, to see into the future and isn't quite capable of discerning when he's seeing the future or the present. I ask that you all offer him something more of a connection so that he knows that now, this moment here and now is this moment here and now.
If that's what he needs, I'm more than willing. And a vacation sounds fantastic.
I am glad to hear that. Hopefully, it will fulfill those expectations. He leans forward for a moment. And he says, very well. I shall share some of my findings from our first session here. To start with you, Eddie the Frog. I feel that your original connection with your monastery has left you a little lonely as you were, let us say, not exiled, but as you parted ways with them. And you are in a position now where you seek to not only build a similar feeling toward a divine, but also build the type of community you got in your monastery. I feel that part of this is the reason why you offer your home to children so freely. You hope to offer them a sense of family that presumably you lost when you left your monastery. You hope to give them the world that you had to leave behind.
Yeah. I think community. Growing up, with my family, how it was with my dad was there a lot, and my mom not so much. But the important thing was the community that came from it. It's not
Yeah.
it's not who's there for you. It's not who's blood to you. It's the community you build out of everyone around you.
Indeed, indeed. So I worry, Eddie the Frog, that in trying to build this community, you will stop seeing the people for the people, but for who they are in respect to your community. One thing I would have you do is spend more time with your sons. Get to know them individually. Father-son bonding. Take, for example, Stefano. Take him out one day without that and see what he takes interest in. Orderly word, I would have you communicate to spend time with him as well. See your son for the individuality. You mentioned yourself, Dirt is not your favorite, but something about what you said gives me an impression that you favor him. I think this may be that he sort of acts as a new chapter, the first chapter in your life, and in your new life. And the connection between him and the moment you acquire the power of the Sky Woman is entwined. So, in a way, Zert has that sort of deific presence that the Sky Woman offered you by heightening your connection with water.
Well, I think he's been through a lot of water with me, so he knows how I like it. He understands it differently than the
The other
rest.
children, yes. Well, I would have you, Eddie the Frog, help the other children understand your water. Wade through the water with them. Consider going to the beach, even, or the riverside.
Hmm. Bring the kids to water. Check.
Yes. As for you, Resco, I find that you are in a very official position. You do a lot of work, and because of that, you might have too much on your plate to allow for you to really discombobulate after everything that has happened in your life. Things have been fast paced since a year ago, and I don't know if you've really had a chance to rest your eyes without wondering when the next mission or call to action has come up.
Maybe
I
you're
believe
right.
I believe that what you could do is turn to others for a bit more help and a bit more relief. Allow your mind the chance to rest. You are doing an excellent job, but that does not mean you do not take your breaks.
Maybe you're right. Um, I suppose a lot of it is just before all this. Well, so many people have had terrible, you know, lives, and me, it was just separation. I just saw people, my family splitting away, and
Hmm, hmm.
just I didn't want to see that again.
Yes, understandable. And Rasco, I do wonder, as I did not touch on this quite yet, who were you before Caladium?
Hmm. Well, before I ran into everyone here, well, I used to be with my mom and my dad, and at some point, well, my dad and my mom, my mom went off somewhere, and I kind of felt it had a lot to do with my dad, and after a while, we kept getting in these fights. I was of age and just wanted to find something, a better life. And I guess when this all happened, when I met, Blink and Eddie and everyone, it was a whirlwind. It felt crazy, but I wasn't used to sticking around. I was, going from town to town, just trying to be like an actor. My father, he was this warrior, went out and, well, not warrior, but he was a woodsy kind of person. But I guess I wanted to get away from it and find some other part of me. So I started acting, and it's just fun being this other character. So I've always gone for adventure, these roles that seem so far away from what I was. I see what that's all like. That's why I want to hold on. I don't want to see this fall apart. I don't want to lose the things that I do have. And I feel like I've gotten strong enough to hold on to at least some of it.
I think that you most certainly have. And I think that as you have grown, so too have the people you trust. And it is safe for you to turn to them when it feels like things are slipping away. But do not fret about solving this all at once. It is a journey. As you journeyed away from your home, no, from where you used to be, to the home you're at now.
Has been a journey.
Turn to 22 next. Well, he doesn't really turn because you all are sitting in front of him. But his attention turns to 22 next. He says, your situation is a bit more intense than Resco or Eddie. I believe for now. I believe Eddie the Frog said it best a moment ago. The construct who lives in your home. They are tasked with living in 22. What I would like to see, what I believe would be helpful, is you getting the opportunity to task yourself with living. Living not just for one goal, but for yourself. To be the 22 you are when you are drinking. Out drinking.
You're not gonna put a heart inside of me, are you?
He takes a note and says, it will be considered in the event that the question is asked.
We had to find the heart. It wasn't easy.
Do you not have a heart in you?
I'm pretty sure I have a heart.
No, I love that inventor guy. He could have invented you a heart.
As a medical
I don't
professional,
need a heart.
As a medical professional, it would be no difficulty for me to manufacture a heart myself.
I don't need a heart.
Exactly.
Why don't you need a heart?
I already have one.
Are you confident in that, 22?
22 will feel his chest and then realize that he's not in his regular body and be like,
Well, sometimes, 22, the heart is not the organ that pumps blood, but the machine
to replace your brain.
that pumps life through your body. Nevertheless, you have a heart, and we do not need to touch on that. But I would love to see you grow. I think it would be helpful for the bond you have here. And I believe that depending on that bond will help you fulfill your purpose. But do not worry. In the event that you acquire the key, I will keep my word and turn the book over to you. Eddie the Frog the Second. I think what you want is something of an identity for yourself. You are loyal to your brother, but you feel as if, he snapped his finger, you came into being just like that. And when you did, you saw Eddie and saw similar to 22, and the very reason that you and him are able to form a bond, you saw a purpose, and you were loyal to him. But maybe not entirely, because even if you are Eddie in mind and body, you are Eddie the Second in soul. What I would have you do is what I would have 22 do. Get a hold of the life you truly desire. Koiel, I feel as if there is more to your story that you're not quite willing to share, and in a way, it keeps you safe from the others. In a way, it keeps you safe from the others, but perhaps not safe from yourself. This feeling that you feel, this thing that you feel roam over you. Do you feel that you can address it by yourself? Oh yeah, did we lose you again?
No, I'm here.
Alright, go yeah.
I would want to say that I could address it by myself, but it wouldn't be growing if I was doing a proper job of it.
I would say that you and Resco, you have a very similar, as Eddie the Second and 22 are similar. You and Resco are, in a way, depend on each other and on others. Will be beneficial. As for Zerg, well, I think he spoke truth to what he needs himself. He feels in a way that he is abandoned, and you, Eddie the Frog, have offered a home for him. His old home still exists, and this purpose he feels that he has is not the only thing he should live for. Allowing him to reconnect with the people he used to know may be helpful. He's looking at you as he says this, Eddie the Frog.
Oh. Well, we're all going to go home and do our best shortly.
Do not feel as if I am giving you homework. No, merely suggestion. And he pours you another cup of. And so he looks and he stands and he doesn't stand. He does stand. And as he stands, he picks up that piece of paper he's been writing on. The one that he started writing on a bit ago. Okay? I will give, and he starts tearing it as he walks across the room, a piece of this paper to each of you. Returns to his seat and says, when the time is right, the paper will act as a ticket in a way, and you will all be picked up for a ride. During this trip, I would have you all enjoy yourself, if it is at all possible.
Thank you.
I think it'll be fun.
I do as well.
I don't
Go
think.
Go
I'm
ahead.
not sure if we've ever really been on a mission where the idea is just to have fun.
Do not think of it as a mission, but let us say, a gift from one friend to another.
I appreciate it.
So he says, then that will wrap up our session for today. For the rest of your day, I would have you all enjoy yourself. Maybe sit down a bit. Eddie the second, you said that you would have a beer with 22. Perhaps go and do a little bit of light drinking in the evening.
The doctor
Eddie?
just tests the alcoholic with drinking.
Of course, all good things in moderation. You see this as a means of learning to better control yourself.
No promises, Doc.
We
Resco,
might have a couple of bottles.
you are a performer, so I would suggest. No, I will not have you do any work, but as you spend much of your time in the theater district, maybe take Eddie and his boys one of the stage you think they might enjoy. Koei, feel free to tag along.
Wait, I think I missed part of that. You said Eddie and his what? Children?
His boys.
Okay. Yeah.
He says, I hope this session has been healthy and informative to you all. If you will meet me downstairs in my office, I will provide an appointment date for the next time I'll be available.
Okay.
Well, he stands up.
As
Go ahead.
Resco stands up, he'll kind of half look to Eddie the second and 22, and he'll say, "If it's just light drinking, could I come with you?"
I don't see why not. So long as you don't stop me if I go overboard.
And you're about to type off, but you can't anymore.
Yeah,
If I think you're about to die, I will stop you.
Well, you don't know one's limits until you've reached them.
Perhaps drinking should not be on the table for today.
No, Doc, you already said it, so that's what we're going to do. Come on, Eddie the second.
I feel like you're taking the Doc's word a little.
I mean, I'm catching a ride.
Oh, yeah. Very well. I shall prepare a liver just in case. So yeah, you all, stand up, go out the hall, turn left and head down the stairs. Dr. Thaddeus has already beat you all to his office. You don't know how, but he's there.
Wow.
Oh, Blake's here, I guess.
Where's Blink at? I don't see him.
No, I accidentally threw him on the,
So, as you come in, he's already marking your name on his calendar. And he says, very good. Let's see each other again next month.
So, we were blocking the only passageway for you to get down. You know what? I don't care. Let's go.
Very well. It was a simple answer, but I suppose he does not want to know. Alright.
Knowing him, it's possible he'll just end up being there.
So he provides you all with a little flashcard about when your next appointment date is, and wishes you all a good day. You head for the door, ready to depart. And, well, anybody got anything else to say to Dr. Patty?
Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, well, yeah, outside of thank you. And I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to talk about that, Doctor. But appreciate you trying.
Of course. When you are ready, Coach. If you are ready, I will hear you. Now,
And then a bird
if you'll
attacked
excuse
her.
me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to perform an operation.
Operation on the house?
No, on a patient.
Like a human?
They are not human, no.
Oh,
But they are of flesh and blood.
that's interesting.
Of course, anything else is doctor-patient confidentiality. And so, with that, he sends you all off. Perhaps you think about what he said. Perhaps you think about the time you're going to have. But another day passed. Another event comes to an end. And with it, so too does this episode of Caladium Red.
Dun dun dun. I can't wait for one of us to make a Reddit post where it's like, our group is so disorganized we had an entire session of therapy.
Wow.
How did you all feel about the session of therapy?
I liked it. You handled it very well.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
very good.
It felt like a genuine thing.
I think it's important because, like, there are a lot of disconnects that we can bring together and strengthen.
Yeah.
Indeed. I've been thinking about this this episode for a while. And I would think, like, what do you do in this situation? Will the players be alright with just sitting down, not really actually talking, not really rolling, rather, but just sitting down and talking with Dr. Thaddeus for, let's see, that's nearly 3 hours. And it's like, I didn't know, but what I didn't want to do was just have this scene where some villain just appear out of nowhere, just so there's some action at the end of the episode.
Yeah. I feel like it's a sign of like I don't know, like it's almost like an achievement. Like you think about it, it's like think about just playing D&D, and you're like, well, you know, I've played D&D long enough that my whole group went to group therapy. I don't know.
You'd be surprised.
I'm glad that we were able to have like a session where it's like, oh, these characters like interact and try to talk about their problems.
Yeah, that's part of what really made me want to feel like we don't really get a chance to just sit down and have everyone sort of be. Just, be.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the first time you all got a glimpse of how much work. Well, it's obviously been out of character but you get a glimpse of how much work Resco does, like with helping Eddie with the school, with being an actor, with going to Isuba, and various other things. I think this might be the first time that 22 outright explained that he's looking for his book or the book.
Is it?
Like, I know.
I feel like
I
that's
don't know.
like the main motivating factor of everything he does.
Yeah, it definitely is. I feel like has it been implied, or did he outright say, "Give me book"?
That's a good question.
And what I really like touching on is the fact that Eddie isn't exactly really in touch with his other kids. I like how. But yes, indeed. And what I really liked about that is how you could actually connect that to Eddie leaving his previous monastery. Because one thing we didn't touch upon is the whole worshipping of Blink as a god. But, well, that's what Dr. Daddy scheduled the next appointment. Nevertheless, though this episode was short, I hope you all had fun.
Yeah.
And I look forward to us joining each other again for more fun.
Yeah, it was super fun.
I'm glad. It's like, how many sessions has it been now? They're like both red and blue.
Ooh, I couldn't tell you. I haven't Blink.
Almost like 50, right? Or around 50. More than 50.
Are we really over 50?
Yeah,
Combined,
I think
yeah.
we
should
All right.
Actually, it might be really close. It might be like 48.
I thought it was like we had at least like 26 sessions out of both or something.
Hang on, I'll upload the videos I do have because I keep forgetting about that.
But it's been that many sessions, and this is the first time Resco ever actually talked about his parents.
Indeed. I almost missed that scene, too. Good thing you said something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you allowed us to give reasons as to why we act the way we act.
Yeah.
Except for Eddie, he just acts the way.
It's
I wish you would have went more into what?
trauma alone.
I like what I could get out of the scene. Where, like, yes, Eddie's reason for adopting so many kids is because he wants that sense of family and community that he lost when he had to leave the monastery.
Oh.
Living his best life, the best he can, with his mishmash of friends. Okay.
Eddie do good. Eddie get pet.
I think we fleshed out a lot of this stuff, like with Eddie and 22, like really well.
Oh, for
I
sure.
definitely, absolutely. I was really curious, Al, as to if you would open the book of Koel a little bit, and it's interesting that you decided to keep a lock on the book.
He's not ready for that. He really has not like had enough time interacting with the people. Like there have been moments where his shell breaks, where he those times where he starts making jokes or cracking jokes or getting along with individuals or doing things outside of the work that they normally do. That part is where it shows, but more or less he has a very tight, firm lock on his personal emotions.
Indeed. It'd be interesting. But it'd be personally interesting to see what goes on next time. And also, what are we gonna do in that next Doctor, I don't know if I could give y'all a second whole episode of Dr. Thaddeus.
Make it a purple session.
That
I
would be
love
great.
Dr. Thaddeus. How does he have so many medical licenses?
He's been around for a long
I think
time.
we learned a little bit about Dr. Thaddeus in this too.
Indeed. He actually did tell y'all more about him. He explained that he is similar to this locksmith and the name
What?
taster.
That did cut me a little bit. It's like, oh, so he's some sort of entity.
Yeah. Well, I thought that when I was doing Dr. Thaddeus stuff, it was a little bit more on the parent side, but it's interesting to see y'all found that a bit curious.
Curious.